Hello, my name is Tiffany and I'm the dyer and maker behind Latah Valley Fiber Co. Welcome to, it is May 4th. So it's a bright sunny day here in Eastern Washington where I live with my husband and my son. And you can find me on Instagram at Latah Valley Fiber Co. You can find my shop online, latahvalleyfiberco.etsy.com, or if you'd like to direct message me, you can do that, lvfiberco@gmail.com. How are you all doing today? I have had a busy week, somewhat quiet, but busy in the background. So yeah, I'm prepping for a market on Saturday. It's supposed to rain, so that will be exciting. I have a tent, so it should be fine. But you know, I have yarn and fiber, which gets damp. That's not a good thing. So if you're in the area, come out and see me. I'd love to say hi and see your faces. So yeah, I guess let's just jump right into, I don't really have any shop news. I have some hats that I knit, and then I also have a pair of socks that I've started, so we can talk about that. And then I guess the hats are going on to the market, so work knitting, but that's okay. Yeah, anyway, okay, let's get started. The first hat I knit this week, I didn't think about where to put my coffee. The first hat I knit this week was actually this one, but I'm going to talk about it in a second. I had done a project. I'll post some pictures here. A friend contacted me and said, hey, can you knit a couple snoods for my dog? So I don't have cotton yarn in my shop yet, so I went to Joann's and found it's the brand K&C, which is knit and crochet, and they had some lovely cotton yarn, so I picked two colors. She had mentioned blue, hi Kroy, and for her dog Walker, and so I knit those up. They actually knit up pretty quickly, and if you followed me on Instagram, you would have seen that my progress on that, the first one anyway. The second one I just whipped out because I needed to get it done. So while I was there, I found Lion brand Thick and Quick, Woolies, something like that. I should have kept the, I'm really bad at keeping the tags. Anyway, it's Lion brand, and I think it's the Woolies. So I picked up some of that yarn and knit this hat. And the reason being is that not everyone can wear wool. So at least 100% wool. So the Woolies is mainly acrylic with 20% wool. So, and it feels acrylic. It doesn't feel woolly at all. So it was kind of more or less an experiment to see, like, do I like the quality of the fabric of the hat that I'm knitting? And I feel like it's okay, but you know, when I've been knitting with wool for so long, well, even the cotton, I was like, oh, this just feels different in my hands. It's not as soft and just luxurious. So, but all that to say that I'm doing this market, and people like to try hats on, and it would be nice to offer something that's not completely wool for those people that can't handle wool, especially up here on your forehead. Now most of the yarn like this is just, it's exquisite. It's merino, so of course it's super soft. And it has superwash coating on it. So it's, anyway, I wouldn't feel like you would have a problem with this causing itchiness, but I don't have an itchiness to wool, generally speaking, so I wouldn't know. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on that, more or less. All right, let's talk about the hats. Okay. These two hats you all voted on last week's video. I had 6 skeins of yarn to whip up before the market. Well, that wasn't going to happen. So I had you all vote, and you voted on 1 and 5. So here they are. This hat, again, this is the Malabrigo Noventa, and this hat's not a pattern. It's just, I cast on, let's see, this is a 1x1 rib. I cast on 58 stitches, 52 stitches, and then I just knit and then decreased when I reached 8 inches. So this is going to be more of a slouchy hat, kind of similar to the last one on last week's podcast. But I love the color, and I'm actually thinking of, I have a little bit of this yarn left over. I was thinking of putting a pom-pom on the top, which is what I did with this one. This has a pom-pom with the leftovers of this. So this one is no pattern, it's just a stockinette stitch. And yeah, okay, that was the first hat. Now this hat, it is a pattern. And this is a gal on YouTube that I just needed, super bulky. I needed a super bulky pattern, and I just, to change it up a little bit. You can only do stockinette so much. So this hat is the Snowflake knit hat, and on YouTube she is Crazy Hands Knitting and Crochet. And this is knitting, so she has you cast on 44 stitches. This is a 1x1 rib, and then you do a series of knit and purl to get this snowflake. She calls it the snowflake. I don't really know, but it was a nice pattern to do, and I enjoyed it. A little bit different than stockinette, and then of course I added the pom-pom on the top. So that one was fun to do, and these hats knit up in a day. And not working on them. I work a little bit in the morning, and then I was finishing them up and binding off in the evening time. So they're pretty fast, really. But still, I was only able to do, well, I did the Lion brand one I did over the weekend, and then these two I did Monday and Tuesday. So, and let's talk about the next hat. Okay, and then this hat is, again, the Lion brand, Thick and Quick woolies, and it also, so I did this one over the weekend, and it is also from that same gal. Her, again, you can go to her her channel. She actually has quite a few for bulky, chunky hats. So that was pretty nice, actually. And it was a good change of pace over the stockinette, which I've already said. So Let me see if I can find it here. Oh goodness. Let's see. Nope. Oh, it was the Aurora hat. Yeah. It's called the Aurora hat, and it's by the same gal, Crazy Hands Knitting and Crochet on YouTube. So it has a great pattern, again 44 stitches, and then this one is a 2x2 rib. So that was kind of fun. And then the yarn itself is variegated, so it had an interesting top here. I don't know if you can see that, but I liked how it kind of framed it. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so those are my hats. My 3 hats for this week. And then I'll pop in a picture here of the 2 dog snoods that I knit as well. And that I knit, it was out of 100% cotton. And actually no, one of them had stellina in it. But it was one of them had stellina, which is shimmery. But it was mainly cotton. And so I did a 2x2 ribbing on that. I cast on 68 stitches, and then I knit for 9 inches and then bound off. All right, one more thing that I cast on, actually last night. I'd had some coffee late in the afternoon, and so I went to bed about 11, and my son went to bed at 9, and so from 9 to 11, I cast on and knit a pair of socks. And this is a pattern that I have done before. It is called the Broken Seed Stitch Sock. And I don't know, maybe you can see that. This is by well, I don't know. Doesn't have a name. It does have a copyright though, which is interesting because usually that is associated with a person. It is on Ravelry, so you can look for it there. It's the Broken Seed Stitch Socks. And I have knit this before for myself. What you use is, it calls for 50 grams of a single color, so a solid color, and then 50 grams of a variegated for contrasting. And what I, on the pair that I did for myself previously, it was a bit more of a contrast. I had white as the solid color, and so the variegated was really poppy. And I guess I should have brought those over. Okay, so this is the pair that I had knit a couple years ago, maybe last year, maybe a couple. I feel like it's been a couple of years. So I don't know the yarn that I used here, but you can kind of see the patterning. Basically, you're doing seed stitch in the variegated, and then with the contrasting color, you just knit. So yeah. And then on the bottom part of the foot, it's just you knit. You don't do the patterning down here. It's just a stripe. And then you do pick up, once you've done the toe, you pick up and do the patterning on the leg. Okay, so that's my pair. I am knitting with Paton's Kroy, which is, as everybody knows, a very hardy sock. It's hard wearing, lasts a long time, has a lot of durability, and this is 75% wool, 25% nylon. It's made in Turkey, packaged in Canada, and each ball is 50 grams. So that's what the pattern called for. This grayish color, well, grayish brown, I guess, I don't know. It's more brown, actually. It is called flax. Flax, yep. And then this variegated, which is actually more of a striping. It's what they had, so that's what I got. It is called Brown Rose Marl. Oop, got a needle in there. But it's more of a striping versus variegated. But actually, it doesn't look bad. I'll show you the result I'm getting out of it. Okay, got too much stuff in my hands. Okay. I am knitting these on DPNs, and I'm doing one at a time because I only had, so it called for the size of needle, which I didn't have, was 2.75, which is a US 2. I'm sure I have those somewhere, but I've misplaced them. They're probably on a project somewhere. A pair of socks, actually. They're probably on a pair of socks somewhere that I've forgotten about. Okay, so here it is. Now I cast on 24 stitches for the toe, and then increased to 52, and then started the patterning. The seed stitch pattern is beautiful on here, but as you can see, it's a little bit more, it's not as poppy as this one. So if I'd used maybe a cream or a white, it might have popped a little bit more, but it's okay. I still like it. I like the more muted color too. So, and then this is the striping on the underside of the foot. I'm almost to 6 inches, and then I'm going to start the heel. So yeah, I like this pattern. It goes by really fast as you're doing the patterning. It just, and then you've got color and then no color. So it goes by very fast as you're like, oh, get to the color. Oh, get to the color. So yeah, I highly recommend these socks. They're very fun to knit. So when do I have time to cast on another pair of socks? But I did. I've been knitting a lot of hats recently, and I've been using the size 12 needles or 13 needles. So my hands just needed a break, and to do something that there's a lot less strain on my wrists and hands with the smaller needles. So it needed a little break. And I'm kind of done with hats now until probably, I might actually give it a couple week break before the next market in June, depending on if the hats are popular or not. I know we're going into summer. Are the hats going to be popular? We'll see. Though I did want to talk about I did want to talk about the pair of socks from last week. And I had talked about pulling them out because they're not long enough through the foot. I haven't done that yet. So, and I haven't cast on the other one either. So, I was bored with this. So I moved on to something that was a little bit more engaging, with a pattern. And then I'll get back to these at some point. So that's the progress on that. I need to rip them out. Okay. That is it for knitting this week. And let's see. Let's talk about what are we going to talk about? Oh, I know what we should talk about. On Tuesday, my friend Kroy, who I've already mentioned, picked my son and I up and took us to her cousin's, Kellyanne, who has 5 alpaca and a llama and a potbelly pig and an Angora rabbit. So we got to go visit, and my son had a great time. He loved the Angora rabbit. So soft. Oh my goodness. I'll post some pictures here. Really, really sweet and friendly, very friendly rabbit. Or bunny. I don't know. Angora bunny. Angora rabbit. I'm not sure. Anyway, his name was Chester. And oh man, I got the wants pretty bad. Part of that could be that I recently had to put down my my old kitty, and I've been feeling the hole that she's left. You know, I love soft and fluffy, and my cat was always in my lap. So anyway, then we went out to check out the potbelly pig, and I can't remember his name actually. Wilbur maybe. Corey, post that in the comments. Was it Wilbur? I think it was Wilbur. So my son liked that. He was very wiry and had definitely a different feel than the rabbit, than the Angora rabbit that we had just been petting. So that was kind of, oh, interesting textures. And then we got to see the alpacas, which I had gone there for the alpaca. And they were a little shy and didn't want to come hang out, but Kellyanne had several fleeces, and I was super excited to see those, and turns out I bought 2 of them. So I bought her, she has mostly cream and white, and then she had one that was brown. And so I picked the white one and a cream one because I'm interested in dyeing it once I've spun it up. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I might make a bat and dye that, or a roving and dye it that way. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I did spend a little bit of time yesterday washing a portion of Ricky, he was the white one, his fleece. And I'll post some video here of me doing that process of scouring it. And I didn't take out the vegetation or the poo prior to it. It was pretty clean minus the dirt, so I didn't feel like it needed a full picking. So I just threw it right in the sink and started washing it. And then as it went along, I pulled out the bigger chunks and threw those in the trash. So it's currently drying, but I thought I would show you a little portion of Ricky. Okay, so this is Ricky, and it's kind of a mess because, you know, I just washed it and I laid it flat to dry, but when you're washing it, it gets a little, oh, here, this is a good one. It gets a little, you know, not matted, but it kind of tangles, and so, oh my goodness. Oh, it's just lovely. So, it's got a little bit of crimp to it, not a whole lot, and it's not super curly. It's pretty luscious. Oh man, I didn't go there intending to buy a fleece because I just didn't know. I went to see the alpacas because I would love to have a couple. Not in the city, obviously, but in the future, I would like some alpaca. Maybe, you know, I don't know how many, but anyway, so that was kind of my main reason to go. And then she showed us her, she has a space for all of her fiber and yeah, so she pulled out a couple of fleeces, and after meeting the alpaca and seeing their colors, I picked Ricky and another one, which I haven't processed yet. Maybe I'll show him next week. So yeah, oh, it's beautiful, and it's so soft. So this is Ricky. And right now I'm just going through the process of scouring it, and then I'll put it in a carder and go from there. So I'm really excited. So my friend Kroy just texted and she said, "So what are you doing with that alpaca? Or are you filming?" So yes, Kroy, I'm filming. Okay, so that's it for that. So that's it for this week. I hope you all have a lovely weekend and fun with your families with whatever you're doing. I'm going to be at the market, so follow me on Instagram for updates on that. And maybe I'll film a little bit to put into next week's podcast. I'm not sure how that's going to work, being my first market. But I'll try and take you guys along a little bit for that. Otherwise, I'll see you next week.